For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za. iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. The best two clubs in the country, Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates, at the Loftus Versfeld Stadium. There was no contest in the end, though. There was only one winner. There was one team that was more superior than the other, really. I suppose we could even start to sing RIP to the title race. I don't know. It's too early. I want the title race, but I don't know. The gulf and the chasm in the quality between the two teams was huge, was big enough. Before we start the video, of course, as always, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. Lovely game of football. Very enjoyable. One coach decided to defend. Another coach and his players decided to attack. And the result was an annihilation. Lindo Pep, my analyst, what did you make of the game, sir?
Shapunjan, Mr. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ngibulisi chairman, ngibulisi director of football,
Yes,
ngibulisi Chasta. Ngibulisi Namachimbo Stadium. I hope they're doing an incredible job. Congratulations to Miguel Cardoso and Mamelodi Sundowns. Kulego quantity versus quality today. Credit to what Ribeiro has done for the past 2 seasons. But for me, I had said to I was very critical of certain things that were happening with Mamelodi Sundowns in the start of the season. But that lineup was proof that this team is going to win the league 3 years in a row if no one decides to stop them. And if these teams are not going to do proper investment. If Nkulego, you can't compete in the Sundowns from a monetary value, I think you can invest in your development systems in terms of the coaches that you bring in, the strategies that you implement so that you can develop better players that can be a bit closer to what Sundowns can get. Because Sundowns, not from a scouting perspective, credit to them from the players that they bring in. Left center back, Suarez, Nkumbuzo a little bit of Nascimento, very composed on the ball. He's got a very good range of passing, reads the game very well. 1v1 defending, very solid today. I think when Zuma Mtwana today, Ucheku Krankekana today, very influential as well in terms of communication, helping this guy I understand what is expected from him. The brilliance of Utebza Eskupini, the dominance of Mamelodi Sundowns. But the first thing I want to talk about, Nkulego, the first thing in the first half is the pressure in Mamelodi Sundowns. Unbelievable pressure. Bayenzi Orlando Pirates, namhlanje ngathi abantwana besikolo. They did not do what they wanted to do. And part of performance is making the other team to not perform. Yeah. It's part of performance. They won the ball 3 seconds all the time when they won the ball. But defender laba loser koni ball. Unbelievable work rate from Marcelo Allende. Unbelievable work rate from Jaden Adams. Unbelievable work rate Peter Shalulile, Ikram Reynas, Lucas Ribeiro. In terms of understanding their defensive role today. Because today that's where they won the game. We lose the ball, quickly press Orlando Pirates, get the opportunities. But we have to speak about that special moment. I've got 2 words today. Lucas Ribeiro. Best player in Africa, best player in South Africa, well-developed player, one of the best Brazilians ever to come to South African football, one of the best players I have seen. I'm 30 years old this year. One of the best players I've ever seen in terms of decision-making, technical ability, bully, strong, decision-making. The goal that he scored second half. Change of pace to proper development. I don't know how much I can praise this guy Nkulego, but I think, in my opinion, he should be the face of this game. He should. Ngicela wonke ama newspaper Monday morning. Can we see the face of Lucas Ribeiro? The conversation about footballer of the year is over, in my opinion. It is over. Second goal. Ngicela check decision making. Ngicela check inhliziyo anayo to take responsibility. The ability to finish. Pass side net. He doesn't just akashaw goalkeeper Nkulego. He decides to pass the net. The control that Marcelo Allende brings into midfield. I don't want to speak much Jaden Adams because it's going to feel like I'm overpraising the boy. Vele mina bengimqala Nkulego. Mina ngucoach Cardoso, even with less than a month, with that quality of a player, I don't want to say Orlando Pirates will regret that decision. Because with their negotiations, they could have always given players to Stellenbosch. They could have always negotiated to say, maybe we do have a Lipasa, maybe we do have Ndlondlo, maybe we do have certain players that maybe we can give to Stellenbosch to minimize layer 20 million, maybe it's 10. That is a generational talent. Comfortability on the ball. One touch, ngati 2 touch. Bambiza Kovacic. Marcelo Allende today. Ferrero Rocher, the control in midfield. But we also have to speak about the bulldozer. And I'm so excited because it's an AFCON year. If we are going to have that Tebogo Mokoena, we are safe as a South African nation. And can they stop playing him as an 8? Perfect number 6. He's dangerous, more especially when he comes from deep. His passing range is on point. The shots that he takes outside the box, he's got a weapon in him. He's got nothing wrong. Sipo China could have done there. He bullet ile antankuleka. Ngicela check He doesn't do ama bola hamba so. Ushama drive shots. that tells you about the technical ability of the boy, that tells you about the confidence and the arrogance that the boy has.
The interesting question is, one day we can discuss this, maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, is which one kicks it better between himself and Uhlompo Kekana. Otherwise, I love them both. Like
He says
they are phenomenal at kicking that ball, and of course the overall game, Gatebza is much better, obviously. But Tebza and Uhlompo Kekana, they can kick the ball. I love them.
let's give credit to Uhlompo. Because Utebza, when you listen to him, he says Uhlompo is his role model. And for sure, he learned that from Uhlompo. But I'm a little bit disappointed. But also, Orlando Pirates has always played like this. I need people to be very honest with themselves. They've always approached the game playing against the Sundowns like that. How they beat the Sundowns in the MTN 8 final, people need to be honest. And this is when they have to be honest.
It was 0-0 in the final.
0-0.
But then because the team wins, there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
When you shoot videos telling them that the game was poor, you were defending, it's like, oh, no more, and stuff like that. You can't teach these people anything when their teams win. So it's like, okay, whatever.
Kulego, everybody speaks about this game being a tactical humdinger. For me, it was not a tactical humdinger. It was total dominance from Mamelodi Sundowns. The previous season we did it. How they got results over Sundowns. This is where they need to be honest. Junior said something very important 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when he was speaking about Kaizer Chiefs. Oguti, how you play determines your future. For me, I've been speaking and we've been advocating for them to have a central midfielder that controls the match. It is living proof that when you control a football game, you've got a high percentage of winning football games. And there's not of winning. This thing of grinding results is something that needs to end. And it needs to end with this game. It's living proof that...
Think about Makaula, they've been giving him man of the matches. They gave him man of the match. We saw it at Derby. He was not the man of the match there. They gave him in the game as Kukuna. We were watching Sundown, so we can't have a comment really. But Junior and so were saying that he's not the man of the match. They were saying Mbule was the man of the match in that game as well. So it's further reinforces that he's their good option, but he's not. He's not a good option in the midfield.
Nkulego, good player. Does his job well, recoveries, listens to the coach, takes instructions, very good professionals. Orlando Pirates cannot play without a general. The Orlando Pirates cannot play with a midfielder that intercepts and does recoveries, and then he's the best player in the derby. For me, I want a player that plays for Orlando Pirates that takes responsibility. No matter how much forward passes, initiate the game, control the tempo. Identical of how a Orlando Pirates midfielder should dictate the tempo of the game, have the arrogance, bully, dominate, combine, and build up. Help us to build a process so that we can get the scrap of the game. It is very frustrating to watch in Orlando Pirates like that, because more than we support clubs, we're footballing living. This was the best season for them to do something in the season.
Yeah, it was the closest.
It was the closest.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I'm heartbroken a little bit because I wanted a title race, and maybe I'll come to terms with the fact that maybe it is over. I don't know. But the reason why I would think that it's over is that Pirates will then have to rely on other teams beating Sundowns. Whereas Pirates is better than all the other teams. So the best possible chance to beat Sundowns is Pirates. And I've been saying that since last year, the year before that every time you play Sundowns in the league, you yourself, you're going to have to beat them as opposed to surrendering and trying to get a draw. Is there a thing from, you love Sundowns, of course, and also you love football.
Yeah.
Primarily you love football. I don't know, is there a way back in this? Because it's a 9-point gap now. Can we still say that the title race is alive today?
If I'm being really honest, I would love to say that. I would love to be positive. I would genuinely love to be positive. But when I'm being realistic, this is about grinding results. This is the cause of grinding results. This is the cause of not controlling games when we say control football games. We said the league is gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's just that the previous coach made so many changes in that team that messed up this team. This team has always been above everyone. For me, in my opinion, Mamelodi Sundowns will never ever drop 9 points in this league. It is proven in the last 7 years.
It is effectively 6 points if you think about the fact that there's one game in hand. But even with that, what we know historically is that whenever there's a gap like this, it's a psychological problem to the one who's chasing.
Yeah.
And Sundowns now, but like you're saying, they're not in the business of dropping those number of points. Even if it was 6, they're not in the business of dropping those 6 points. Iafa is Supersport United. There's Stellenbosch Siafa now. So like there's not a lot of hiccups along the way where you could say when Sundowns was playing against Stellenbosch, you saw them yesterday and we saw them again in other matches as well, that they are no longer the team that they were. So you would imagine that maybe they could grind a draw against Sundowns, maybe Pirates could win, and so on and so forth. There's lesser teams now that can take points from Sundowns the more the years go on. So
Oh, my God.
I have this inclination of thinking that maybe it is over, but your opinion of
Nkulego, this thing is not a now thing. I said in the beginning of the season when they played against the Super Sport, I was here with you. I said this is the season when they were supposed to be a serious team. This is the season where they were supposed to make decisions that were going to make this team a serious team. I had said here, do not be surprised if Mamelodi Sundowns in January, because Orlando Pirates is chasing for the league, do not be surprised if they make a signing Lebu Mutiba or bring in a Pesitao. They brought in Lebu Mutiba. They surprised us by bringing certain players like Abo Jaden Adams. I was expecting the Pirates to go to another level, more especially understanding that they could close the gap to Mamelodi Sundowns in the Nedbank Cup, even though it's just cups. But they played exceptionally well, more especially in the second half of that season. This was the season where they were supposed to be brave in terms of decision making. Do not get quantity. Do not get squad players. Because if you analyze and profile the Orlando Pirates, is that the players that are playing now with Orlando Pirates were supposed to be bench players. Utito Maswangai, when he came last season, he said, I did not think I would play this often with Pirates. So now, Abombata, Tito Maswangai, Rilem Fukeng, Kota have a responsibility of winning a league for this team. Not even in their 3 seasons. They haven't even played 3 seasons in the Beton.
Some of them.
They don't have they are not seasoned campaigners yet. They are not seasoned. They are not seasoned. And for me, they were let down by a lot of Toki. They are let down by so many players. Makaula team. I can count so many players that are in that Orlando Pirates team. They've let go of some, Abu Ben Mutswari, and so many, Abu Specific, but they got it right now. And now that they got it right, this is when they were supposed to bring in the right players. Make sure you do everything. Bazo ithatha apha enye midfielder if I know Jaden Adams in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Where are they going to get a quality of a midfielder like that?
Unless Sipombule, for whatever reason, Sundowns runs out the contract and then joins them. But I get your point.
Yeah.
There's maybe another one that we can explore here.
Yeah.
It's related to the fact that njengoba udlala nalaba udlala nabo, uma ngabe uyabadla, you will reduce that gap to 3 points.
Yeah.
If you beat those guys. Of course, both of you are big, so they're going to punch you, you're going to punch them. So bona ukuthi niphuma kanjani. I do think that they didn't do that. This is my challenge, that they didn't do that. Even last year, there were games where Pirates and Sundowns played to 0-0 or 1-1. And of course, there's this euphoria because these are big teams and they have a lot of followers and there's a lot of talk. There's a sense that today, if you beat Sundowns, it will be 3 points gap. Did that show itself as the whistle starts, that we are playing with intent, first man on the ball, front foot, because mangabe sibadla laba sizoreduce gap ngo 3 points.
Nkulego, I feel sad for Orlando Pirates fans, to be specific, because when the game started, they already lost the game. But admit it, and they already said, Mamelodi Sundowns is way superior than us. We respect them. We're going to allow them to come to us. But what fascinates me the most is the dominance in Mamelodi Sundowns that it had in terms of pressing them and not allowing them to play. I just feel sad for those fans because those fans genuinely believe that they're going to beat Mamelodi Sundowns and that they could do something. But the first 22 minutes, I'm not counting anything. The first 22 minutes of that game was a proof that Mamelodi Sundowns is on a different space. In terms of ball position, in terms of tactical ability, in terms of technical ability, in terms of psychological profile, those players are stronger than them. In terms of them dominating the game, Nalesa scoreline in Nkulego is living proof that it could have been more. It could have been
Absolutely.
more. In the second half, that's the only critical thing I have for Miguel Cardoso, that he went back to his old ways, where he said 11 men behind the ball, let's reserve, let's watch, because it's a coaching instruction. At halftime, probably the first minute, he said, we've been playing very well, let's consolidate, we've got a 2-0 result, they are not attacking. And he probably might not be right, because they were not posing a threat. Umabasa begadala away from the defenders. He was acting, Umakhopa, I mean to say, he was playing away from, not effective. Umfana na ngize ngimplay mu udayide ngumfukeng akuna supply. That's why I'm always critical. It's not an agenda on Umakhaula. I will never accept a Pirates that doesn't play, that plays with a midfielder that passes sideways, besa win ama tackle, besa ngiyampraise uzopasa uba no real. That's why Tito has the responsibility of coming deep.
Yes, he's been dropping so much.
And now he's taking a risk. He's starting a risk, and now it seems like he's making a lot of mistakes based on the fact that not Dlamini today, very disappointing, to be honest with you. These are the games with Dlamini. He's been Orlando Pirates for more than 4 years. Nkulego. He needs to raise the level, more especially in those. You judge this team and these players based on playing against competitive teams.
Yep.
This is where we need to judge the Pirates, and this is where the fans need to judge the Pirates. And today, this is living proof that grinding results, building, linking your DTC with your team, loan systems. Certain players, they need to be loaned out.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much.
All right.
There's a timer from Justice indicating that we've run out of time. That was Orlando Pirates visiting Pretoria. Thank you to the people of Pretoria and, of course, to the people of Johannesburg as well, in other closer areas, Witbank and all of those areas where people could reach this game. It was a big game.
Yeah.
We hype these games up, of course, because we have to peddle a narrative, number one versus number two, our contenders in. But the game itself will then tell us what it is, whether or not it's just a pretender versus the champion, and so on and so forth. I'm yet to see a Pirates that goes to Sundowns and takes and beat the shit out of them. Like I'm yet to see that, because even in the Nedbank Cup final, it was a comeback from behind. It was not, we are here and we're going to take something. I'm yet to see that. And I suppose that's something that maybe the coaching staff could discuss, to say that there needs to be a change in approach when you need to take 3 points away from your direct opponent because you are the strongest. Everyone, after, if Sundowns plays Kukune, Royal AM, they are playing teams that are weaker than Pirates. So when they play against you, Orlando Pirates, you should do something. Anyways, that was the game. iDiskiTV, iDiski Times was sweating.